here with Ryan Gunzenhauser, Backhouse Assistant Director, and Jay Shack, Culinary Manager. They're here today to walk us through our St. Patrick's Day menu. Take it away, Ryan.
All right, so we're really excited to be able to do this video again for you. It's been quite a while, so we're going to get things started right now. We are going to be showing you how we make our corned beef for the corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day. A little background on that, we order in brisket from Groff Meats. Groff Meats is a local company in E-Town. It's where we get 90% of our meat from. These briskets that we're using to make the corned beef are the exact same briskets that we use on Sundays when you guys have the smoked brisket that Martin makes. And it's pretty amazing how you can get such a different flavor out of the same cut of meat. So, like Sean said, I'm here with Jay. The first step in this process after the meat came in is that we needed to brine it. So Jay's going to tell you a little bit about how he made the brine for this.
All right, so the brine is actually basically just water, salt, and pickling spice. It's a good amount of salt, and that's what makes it corned beef. The pickling spice is brought in. It is peppercorns. There is bay.
Yeah, there's peppers, red peppers. It's a good blend of seasonings. Hopefully the camera can kind of pick up what's in there. It's quite a good blend of stuff. It's the same sort of pickling seasoning you would make if you were going to make pickles at home. The goal is basically to try to pickle this meat so that we can get that good corned beef flavor.
This is actually a 3-day process. I started yesterday. It was soaking overnight in the brine and the pickling spice. And we're going to pan it up and get it ready to cook for the next step. And then after that, we will slice it, and that will be another video at another time.
All right, so go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, pan that in.
Yeah, so Jay's got out some really big roasting pans here. There's going to be a surprising amount of liquids that come off of these briskets as they go through the cooking process, so we need to make sure we have a good high side going on there. These briskets are pretty big, as you can see. They're about 20 inches long and about 15 inches wide. It's about 60 to 70 pounds of beef depending on each individual cut. You can see as we do this that we actually leave the fat on the top during the cooking process. That allows the juices to permeate through the meat while it's cooking over time, keeps the meat tender. Along with that, keeping the meat tender, we have this great pickling brine that Jay made for this. The brine itself, with its chemical makeup, is actually going to help tenderize and break down the meat as it cooks so that we get a nice consistent product. So he's got the briskets out of the containers right now. We'll actually use some of the brine that he made to get in the pans to help that flavor continue to go on while we're cooking.
Yeah. And Ryan, where do you get our fresh meats from?
Again, it's Groff's Meats. It's a local company in Elizabethtown. We've been buying food for them for as long as I've worked here, probably almost as long as Sean's been here. So that's quite a while. If you know how many years Sean has been here, you'll win a special prize. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Groff's Meats is great. We have been able to do a wonderful job of keeping our costs down and providing you all with a good quality, fresh, locally sourced product. So that's one of our main goals here in the kitchen, making sure you're getting really great food every day.
Okay, so we are making our way over to the Alto Sham, and we have Martin here actually working on some of our famous homemade mac and cheese. As you can see, many pans to feed the house here at Woodcrest Villa. So moving over to with Jay and Ryan here. Jay's getting ready. I'll turn this over to Jay to walk you through the cooking process of the corned beef for our St. Patty's Day menu. Go ahead, Jay.
All right, so for this corned beef, what we're going to do is cook it for 15 hours. 15 hours overnight at the heat of 225 degrees. That'll make it nice and tender and ready to slice tomorrow to go with the cabbage and get ready for St. Patty's Day.
The Alto Sham we have here, it's actually a pretty amazing little piece of equipment. We packed this thing up. We actually have 2 more over in our other kitchen in Hummingbird. We will use this piece of equipment for brisket, beef tenderloins, ham, turkey, just pork shoulders, pork butts, all sorts of different things. This particular piece of equipment is one of the most important things we have here, honestly. With the hours that our team works, this piece of equipment gives us the ability to slow cook things when no one's even here. And that's how we're able to accomplish a lot of our goals. So, like even right now, like this is beautiful. Jay's going to set this up. It allows us to set the time on here. This actually also has a smoker feature. So when you get smoked brisket on a Sunday, we actually have this little piece up here, and that one we fill those with wood chips. And we can actually set a timer for how long we want something to smoke as well, so that we can basically control how much of that smoked flavor makes it into the food. And for that brisket, we actually use hickory chips that we buy in, so that's how we're making that. So yeah, Jay's got this set up. This will get up to temperature. We can tell it what time to turn on, what time to turn off, what temperature to cook at, what what temperature do we want it to hold at. So we might cook something for 15 hours and then program it to hold at 170 degrees for another hour or so after that. And basically that's what we use it for.
Very nice. Great piece of equipment. I gotta say, guys, one of my favorite times is usually the first one, in the mornings. And when I open that kitchen door, and you got the turkeys in there. I mean, it just takes me back to Thanksgiving, right before we're about ready to dish up. And for those residents watching, we do have a Thursday on the current menu cycle that kind of mimics a Thanksgiving Day menu. And I got to tell you, this kitchen smells amazing when those turkeys have been in there all night. So, looking forward to coming in here and, letting that aroma permeate as those corned beef briskets are cooking.
It does. Fun fact about the turkeys, this piece of equipment, along with the ones in Bluebird, have a really great capacity. So we're actually to cook off, I believe, up to 14 25-pound turkeys at one time between the three pieces of equipment. That's how we're able to do things like the Thanksgiving meal or the corned beef briskets or other things. For us to be able to have the capacity to cook that much food for everybody here at one time is incredibly important. Like, if we didn't have these things, we wouldn't be able to cook them all off like that. The ovens don't even have that same capacity to be able to pull it off. Despite the size difference, you can see the oven right here. I can't fit as much turkey in this, the way it's set up, as I can actually get in this smaller piece of equipment. So, corned beef and cabbage is a very traditional meal for St. Patrick's Day. So what we wanted to show you is how much cabbage we actually need to do the cabbage for that day. So this is a
one big container, right?
Huge Lexan container. This container obviously is filled with chopped up cabbage. When we order this in, we're looking at roughly about 60 pounds worth of heads of cabbage to be able to have enough for a meal. After we cut that all down and get the ends off, our usable product ends up being about 40 to 45 pounds. So if you look in here, this is what we're left with. This is all fresh product. We use Kegel's Produce and Scheid Produce, two local produce vendors. They do a really good job of getting us everything we need here so that we're able to maintain our fresh products for everybody. So what we'll do is, while we come in the morning and we'll have somebody getting out that corned beef from the Alto sham we showed you before, we'll have another part of our production team taking this cabbage over to our brazier in order to start cooking this off. So our brazier is basically a huge grill. It's about 40 inches by 24 inches in size, and we'll be able to fit all of this cabbage in there at one time. We'll put in our liquids and things, and we will be able to cook this down for you all to have with your corned beef and cabbage. I'm very excited to show you what the finished product looks like. As soon as we get the corned beef out of the oven, we will get all this panned up together, and you'll be able to see exactly what you're getting for dinner tonight.
And we're back here with Jay Shack Jay, tell us a little bit about, I know you had these roughly in for about, was it 15 hours?
They were cooked for about 15 hours overnight with all the seasonings. And we have what the product is now today, 15 hours later, ready to slice and pan up for St. Patty's Day tomorrow.
I gotta tell you, when I walked in this morning, I can't say it smelled like Thanksgiving like I was talking about the other day, but it smelled wonderful. So I'm excited to see how these briskets turned out.
All right, let me show you. So I have a pan of cabbage here ready to go that I braised off. Here is the brisket.
Wow. Corn seasoning with brisket. That's amazing, Jay.
So then what we do is we have to trim some of the fat out of it. It's already falling apart. It's not fat. Trim some of the fat off here. A little bit. You want to leave some for the flavor. A little bit in there. Put that to the side. You can start. You start slicing it down. This is what the product you get here.
So as you notice, Jay is cutting across the grain there on the bias at an angle.
Yeah.
Turns out a little bit more tender.
Lay it out into pans like this. I'll finish slicing it here for you. You always want to leave a little bit of the fat. It'll render down when you finish cooking it.
Very nice.
And you notice I'm going a little thicker. It's that tender that if I did not, it would all crumble and fall apart. It is just falling apart, falling off. Beautiful.
Wonderful, man. Excited to serve this evening.
Slice it down.
Brian, you were saying this is the same cut of meat that you use for other items on the menu cycle?
Yeah, this is the same brisket we use when we have brisket on Sundays. Again, it's a good cut of meat. It has a good fat content. It gets a lot of good flavor. And to Jay's point, after you cook this, it really does a great job of getting tender. You can see how it just kind of falls apart there. It's just very conducive to this style of cooking for this type of product. You know, and you don't want that with everything. You know, if we're having beef tenderloins on our menu, you know, we're not going to want that falling apart. We're going to want to carve that. And that has less of a fat content in it. You know, and then we get top rounds in to make roast beef and some other things. So everything kind of has its place depending on what kind of cooking we're doing. A top round wouldn't do well on this. It wouldn't be able to fall apart quite as nicely. It would be a tougher product. So yeah, and obviously you can see when you look at this in the pan, you know, we're trying to get this nice and non-free. When we make corned beef here, it's not like the processed corned beef you see at the store. So you're not going to see that pink lunch meat corned beef sort of color when we do it, but it definitely has that flavor. It just, you know, the way we're making this homemade, it doesn't have that same appearance when it comes out.
Yeah, definitely different cooking procedures for different cuts of meat. Like Ryan was saying, on our Sundays when we're doing prime rib, when we're doing our tenderloins, we're definitely cooking them differently than we would this cut of meat beef and brisket.
All right, so then for each pan, I saved 4 cups of the brine that it was actually cooked in, and I'll reconstitute it into the cabbage and the beef. So when we finish it up tomorrow, it'll have all that flavor, all the tenderness, and it is on the bed of cabbage, so that'll cook down really nice for you.
Looks amazing, dude.
All right, we are headed into our continued preparation for St. Patrick's Day. As you can see here, we have 36 one-pound loaves of freshly baked soda bread. These came in from Achenbach's Bakery. We try to do a good job of using as much local business as we can. We use several local bakeries, including these guys, Bird in Hand Bake Shop, and some other smaller places when we have some special events. We will be taking this and getting it all set for you. It'll be all cut up and ready for service on Thursday night.
We are back here with Ryan Gunzenhausen, Backhouse Assistant Director, as we're continuing to prepare for the St. Patrick's Day menu. What do you have here, Ryan?
Well, what we have here is a giant Lexan again. If you remember, we were showing you how we brine up the brisket and a few other things, and the cabbage. So what I have is the beginnings of Watergate Salad. I already took the time to empty the pineapples in here. This is a mixture of crushed pineapples and pineapple tidbits. These come in great big cans. So this is about 30 pounds worth of pineapple along with all the liquids. So we're going to get started. This is a pretty basic recipe. We use pistachio pudding mix that we're going to add into this. 6 packs. The pudding mix that we get in here is a lower fat, lower calorie. We just try to do a good job of, maintaining some nutritional things and keeping that in mind when we're making dessert type stuff. So I'm going to mix these in. We have 6 packs of these that need to get into this recipe. It's just your...
How many portions roughly, when we are all done with this? Looks like a very large container there. How many portions do you think we'll get out of it?
If I had to guess, I'd say around 220 or so portions, give or take, depending on if you come through the buffet, how big of a bowl you get, or if you are headed into the dining room, it'll come pre-portioned out for you. So yeah, this is your basic pistachio pudding mix. You can buy this at the store. These are just bigger packets. One of these makes 13 and a half cups of pistachio pudding if you were actually going to be making the pudding itself, but we're not doing that for today. So
this will be listed on our menu as the 3rd salad of the day.
Yes.
Typically we run a garden tossed salad, a Caesar salad, and then for our 3rd salad of the day we either do a compound salad or a simple salad. Obviously this would be a compound salad.
Right. Yeah, if you want to zoom in here, you'll see, it's pistachio pudding mix, so that pineapple's yellow, but you're going to see this white powder start to turn green while I stir this in here. Yes, the phone's ringing. Welcome to the kitchen here, Hummingbird. So I'm going to mix this in thoroughly and completely. Again, we left all of the liquids in with the canned pineapples. We need that to get this mix to break down. So this will take a few moments here to get it together. Usually when we make this, we'll start off with a spoon like I am right now to get it mixed in pretty good. Later on in this recipe, we'll probably be using gloved hands to get it thoroughly mixed in. Once we get the whipped topping and stuff in here, it becomes too thick to actually mix with a spoon. So if you can look in here now, you're going to see the reason why we decided to put this on the menu for St. Patrick's Day. We get that festive green.
St. Patrick's Day right there.
It does. So getting this mixed in here. Almost done. All right, and you can see I'm going to get my hands in here too with gloves on. Underneath here at the bottom there is still more pineapple, and you can't really get it with the spoon. So this salad really needs to be well mixed together, just so the pudding can constitute itself in a way that's palatable. So I'll get this mixed around pretty good here. You can see some of the pineapple there that's not quite mixed in yet from the bottom. All right, we've got this all mixed in nice and evenly, so I'm going to start adding in the whipped cream. We get these delightful bags of whipped cream all ready to go from Rich's. It's a very good product. You're definitely familiar of it if you eat whipped cream. So we cut the ends off of these bags to make it easy to get the stuff out. It takes 4 of these to make enough topping in here, and sometimes 5 depending on the liquids from the pineapples. As consistent as a product as we do get, fruit has different moisture content, so sometimes there's a little bit more liquids in with the pineapples and other times there isn't. So I'm going to get these 4 bags in here and get this mixed up real quick before we add the last few ingredients in. Alright, so like I said before, you could try to use a spoon for this, and you can see using a spoon it doesn't really mix that well. So I, again, just try to get this started, and then I will finish mixing this up again by using my gloved hands.
And we use that ready whip product. That's a great product, like Ryan was saying. It actually has a low sugar content and low fat content than some on the market. So
Yes.
as you can tell, this will already be a sweet enough dessert. You don't have to add to that.
Yeah. You know, we've got a lot of products like that out on the market. You know, this is by far the one that tastes the closest to like a Cool Whip, without all those calories that you'll find in it. So that's a really great combination for us. And this takes a couple minutes to get it all thoroughly mixed in. Like I said, it's thick, it's heavy, and the heavier parts will sink down to the bottom. So we'll get this all in here. And I don't know if you can see down in here, Sean, just to show how you get this down on the bottom. Common problem, it's a square container, so it's a little harder to mix, but we don't have round containers that you would be able to make this quantity of food at one time. So, all right, we've got that all mixed together in the pan. Kind of get some of this off my gloves here real quick. So that's that. This is the pineapples with the pudding mix and whipped cream in there. The next thing we need to do is add in all of the mini marshmallows. So these are your regular mini marshmallows that you can get at the grocery store. We're actually able to buy those here in bulk cases, so we got those. Goes to show you marshmallows are better for more things than just in your hot chocolate or making s'mores. They're very handy for making some of these other home-style sort of Pennsylvania Dutch dessert items that we like to put on our menu for all of you here. So we got all the mushrooms in here, mushrooms. All the marshmallows are in here.
No mushrooms in that one.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was looking for mushrooms today out in the woods while I was on my break, but I did not find any yet. It's still a little earlier in the year. So, all right, I've got all these mushrooms in here. This will take a few minutes for me to get this mixed together for sure. So stay tuned while we get this all taken care of. All right, we spent a few minutes getting this all mixed up. The final ingredient we have here is a bunch of chopped pecans that we're going to put in. So we've got this. We'll simply sprinkle these all in here and get these mixed up and mixed in real good. Give it a little bit of crunch and texture while we're eating it. And these mix in pretty easily, so I can use a spoon. It's pretty amazing with the food that we make here how some items take us days. For example, the corned beef, to be able to prepare that is a multi-day process. And other items like this, we're able to make over 200 portions in less than 15 minutes, which is pretty good and allows us to maintain doing a huge variety of stuff. So we get that all mixed in, and this is what you end up with the final product,
Very nice,
which
Ryan.
is our Watergate salad.
Thank you so much, and we hope you enjoyed a walk through some of our St. Patrick's Day menu items, and we hope you enjoy.